Thought low tide was coming, but low tide might be past. Hey, welcome to a beautiful morning out here at the river house. And finally, I don't know if that's the right word, but definitely this is not a day where we're going to be inside the house working, though we're definitely working on the house. Today is maintenance day, so I'm going to get the oil changed on that beast. I really doubt it has enough hours on it, but you know, oil's cheap. And then we're going to get the oil changed on this beast because, well, it looks like it kind of needs it, and I always like to start with my bench line. I suspect it's had a little worse maintenance in its life than I would like to believe, because I noticed yesterday there's no top on the air cleaner. It's a giant air cleaner, and it has nice big rubber seals, so it's clearly been leaking a little. You can see the throat of the carburetor is, you know, it's got that orange film on it, that buildup or whatnot, but it's not been catastrophic. They just put tape over the tie down hole, so gonna have to do that. And then I want to inspect, found the air cleaner lid in the side box. I want to inspect, there we go. I want to inspect the transmission oil in it, if only because the PTO pump was, you know, for a direct drive pump, there's no shaft. I'm used to our old trucks, and they got a, you know, PTO driveline shaft and a pump mounted in the frame rails. This is just a direct pump. Just a little loud and grumbly. I really expected to go down there and find some U-joints that were making it grumble, but yeah, so I just want to pull that stuff out and look for the magic glitter and whatnot. Yeah, after we get that going, I got every chainsaw, well, every chainsaw but one that we currently own. The big steel 026, 024 is over in the river house. You know, that's my old one. I bought it at an auction, and the plastics were broken when I got it, but they're in a lot worse shape now. So the longest bar I've got is on my grandfather's, and in many ways that's just because I promised Shay. This is my other grandfather's steel. Looks brand new. Chainsaw bar says made in West Germany, so you know she's got some vintage to her. And then this is a Craftsman. What is this? 3.4 16-inch. Don't know. Pulled it out of a dumpster. Did a little bit of tinkering, and bada bing, bada boom. Runs as good or better than the rest of my chainsaws. So, hot dang. That is the wire. For the house, the folks on Facebook Marketplace came through for me, and that is supposed to be 150 feet. And I paid $150. So that's like a third the normal price. Daddy was happy with that. But yeah. Oh, and I got a box full of plumbing fittings. I hate doing it, but I essentially went in and just bought a bunch of generic fittings, not even remotely enough, but a chunk, since it's getting harder and harder to find that stuff. So, where was I? Oh, yeah. We're gonna change the oil in the bucket truck and inspect the PTO. Hopefully it's just grumbly. I'd like to get it started and up on the hill. After doing a little crane maintenance, I'd like to spend an hour, just getting to know the machine and its functions. I want to do the maintenance on the excavator. She's been sitting there all winter long. Not the maintenance regarding the giant oil leak that's coming out the bottom, although I'll look for that. Last time it was a loose line, so I'll look for that. Someone did point out that the way the machine's belly works, it has the capacity to soak up and pool rather small leaks for a very long period of time until you get them tipped, and then it finds a hole and leaks out all at once, giving the impression of a much bigger leak. So maybe that's what's going on. After that, obviously I've got water line that we need to drill and break, and I got a stack of rocks that is in the way of every heavy truck that comes to deliver stuff. Lots of stuff to go here at the river house, and none of it involves rock wool. So while the oil is draining from what I think is the world's smallest drain plug, let's have a look at that carburetor. And what we see is she's broken off right there. Okay? Don't know why, don't know what, but we got the parts and pieces right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up, I guess up, and get the drill and the box of drills. Yeah, I guess that made sense. And then I'm going to try stuffing a bunch of rags in there and see if I can very carefully kind of drill out the middle of that stud. And then I haven't got any easy outs here that I know of, but I have this really strong feeling that it's probably not jammed in there hard. That means fingers crossed. I guess it could be Loctited from the factory or something, and I don't actually know how it could have gotten broken off to begin with, but I'm hoping it's not actually in there very hard and I can just tap a screwdriver down in there or a Torx bit and maybe unscrew it that way. Failing that, you know, I guess the only real option, see what I mean? God damn it. I guess the only real option would be to put the new air cleaner on, and I can use that stud to cinch these two together so at least it can't leak there, and then bungee cord over the top or something. But before we freak out, let's go see if I can get this out. Well, true river house fashion, everything went to shit in a hurry. So I don't know what's down inside there, but it spins. And even though I got it drilled out, it just spins down inside, so I can't get it out. So what I've done is I've made this delightful thing, and I've drilled holes in the carburetor's webbing, and then this just slips over the top, and we'll use some 1/4 inch bolts with some lock nuts I had laying around, and that'll allow us to cinch the dang air cleaner down. So it's not elegant for reasons I don't want to talk about. I haven't got any power at the river house, so I had to drag out the Harbor Freight welder there. Whatever, you glob enough on there and she'll stay. I mean, literally, it had nothing. So now we'll get this put back together, and then I'll finally get oil in the truck. It's definitely had enough time for the world's smallest drain plug to finish draining. And then, yeah, then we can look at the transmission. Maybe I'll get it started, back it up so it's not in a hole, and look at the transmission. Oh, God, I hope it starts. Oh, yeah. Now I can't use the choke. Oh, why do I do this shit? Why do I do this? Well, it'll work for the summer, and like everything else, I'll fix it later. God, I feel stupid. All right, it's running. Started okay without a choke, I guess. I'll let it build some air pressure and then back it up. I want to pull the drain plug on the transmission and just confirm that's full of a acceptable amount of gear oil. Just want to make sure that's not why it has a grumbling sort of PTO. Okay, here's where we sit. It had about 6 of the 10 quarts it was supposed to in the engine. I removed the pump because the only way to get the fill plugs off is to remove the pump off the end of the PTO shaft. I removed the pump. You know, I put some anti-seize in the coupling, but I think everything looks pretty normal. And I pulled the drain plug. It's got big magnets on the bottom. They were not caked with crap and shavings. Wonderful. I let it blurp a little bit of oil, and then I put in what I had here, which I think is 140 weight filtered out of the old Army trucks. Didn't quite have enough to fill her to the top, but yeah, I put 2 full bottles in. So there's what, 2 pints. So there's way more in it than there was before. So yeah, very clearly we've got kind of a lack of maintenance issues that will need to be addressed. But nonetheless, I suspect we're good to go right now. And I'm debating, do I just take it out and play with it, or while I'm greasy, do I just do that one too? I probably should just do that one too. Yeah, so ignore the exhaust leak, but that's with the PTO running. It is. Okay, so we're back. Dummy here didn't notice that while the camera files were technically being erased, it wasn't overwriting them. So I ran out of memory yesterday. I'm not sure where it died on me, but to summarize, got the oil changed in the bucket truck. It supposedly holds about 10 quarts. I got about 5.5 out of it. Pretty thick, sludgy stuff, but it was oil. In order to check the oil in the transmission, you had to pull the hydraulic pump off of the PTO. I did that. I got oil out of the bottom of it. It was pretty sludgy oil, but the magnets didn't show any nasty glitters. So I put it back in. I had didn't want that to fall over. So I had 2.5 pints, 2 pints of 140 weight gear oil, filtered and settled for about 3 years out of the Army truck. Looks brand new. I put that in there, and I wasn't able to fill the transmission, so she's pretty low. Shay and I got the old bucket truck running. In fact, you can see part of it sticking up right there. And I took the limbs off the big Ponderosa. It's got to go down. I took the limbs that were on the house side and the back side, leaving all the weight in the direction I want it to go. Not a professional tree faller. Biggest tree I've ever fallen would be that one. And, you know, I'll put the excavator up there and push, but there's a lot to lose if it goes wrong. Prevailing winds go in the right direction. Everything says she'll go right up the hill, but no reason to be stupid. So, any more than normal. So yeah, today's goal. Shay's grandma is coming in, and he wanted desperately to be here when I cut the tree down. So I didn't even bring a chainsaw. That was my agreement with him. He's quite sad. I think there'll be some tears when it hits the ground. But I didn't even bring the chainsaw, and today I've got enough oil to change the oil in the excavator, so we're going to do that, change all of its filters. We're going to do that, have us a little peek to see if we can find out where that leak is. It's entirely possible, you know, the belly pan of the excavator at this point is pretty packed with dirt and grime or whatnot. It's entirely possible what we have is a small leak mixing with water from rain that just collects up in pools. And because it was sitting at an angle the way it was, all that flowed out of it over the course of the winter, leading to what appears to be a much bigger leak than there really is, or there's a big ass leak in it, one of the two. So I figured I'd have a peek. Last time I had a leak out of the belly pan, I found a hydraulic hose that was finger tight. So maybe that's all that's wrong this time. But yeah, right now I'm hauling fuel, filling the standard oil tank. This is the one that I bought at the auction. I thought it was perfect. 2 sizes. I don't need that much fuel. And in the whole scope of things, 2 sizes there. But there's a crack in the baffle between the two. So while the whole tank doesn't leak and pressure tested, it leaks between, and that's how I polluted all that gasoline and diesel mix. So this time I'm just filling it with straight gasoline. I don't know how much we'll end up putting in there. This is a tank I'm essentially borrowing from Dad. It is designed to be on a big tall rack. So unfortunately I have the pump in the only fill hole, you know, up there in the top. So yeah, the neighbor gave me a diesel transfer pump that fit in a wildland fire truck, big square thing, and sorry, a tank. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to swap this round one out for that big rectangular one, and then I'll end up pumping this one dry into that. I also don't like that it's got a valve down here. You know, break that son of a gun off, or kids get up here and play or whatnot, and I'm going to have a hell of a lot of diesel up here. So I believe I'm going to pump this one dry into that one and swap the two over, and then I'll either store this for Dad or return it to Dad. He filled it through the bottom with a transfer pump, so he could go back to using it. It was just desperate measures for me. But yeah, that's what we're doing. All right, that big girl's done. 5 gallons of oil. I know it didn't have the hours on it, but oil's cheap compared to replacing it. So that's all done. Hydraulic filter changed. I pulled the covers off the top, and I can't see any big leaks. If it is, it's got to be inside the swing motor itself. There's a big greasy plate underneath. I didn't pull that one off. I can, however, see a puddle of standing water up on top from the rain. So maybe that is all it is. I guess we'll find out if I use it for a bit and it pukes like that a second time. Alright, well, then we know we got problems. Speaking of that, I figured, you know, I've worked reasonably hard, and there are so many things I could be doing today, like cutting rock and breaking a jackhammer. But I think I might spend just a little bit of time playing. I got that pile right there. I need to sort it. If it's big enough to use in a wall or sell or something like that to make some money, then it needs to be set off to the side. Otherwise, it needs to be plopped right over in here so that I can use it for road building later. And I'm going to sit and do that. I'm going to sit and sort of mindlessly play with the excavator. I don't think I can break it doing that. I do need it to fall that tree up there. But yeah, I'm just going to play for a bit. After that, I'll get my ass in gear, get the hoses set up, and start cutting rock. Alright, so this looks like the mine's inventory. But they just hadn't gotten ready to sort and distribute. Oh, it's full of junk that I really can't use. But it's also full of lots of squares and flats and bricks and stuff like that. I don't think it's definitely not top of the line stuff, right? but it's not invaluable stuff either. So I'm torn because I could really use some roadbed material right down here. I could really use this corner wider for the big trucks. But I also know that if I was to take the time to put this on pallets and try to sell it, I could sell it. And I really could use the money. And let's just be honest on that, right? Dang, I did not want to get the backhoe out and swap the bucket for the forks and palletize rock today. Where would I put it? You know, the backhoe, I can only stack half pallets, but each half pallet, you sell it to somebody for 150 bucks. They're still getting a bargain. I got 13, 14 pallets worth of stuff right here. Guess I better just do it, huh? Okay, that's the tank the neighbor gave me. It's quite a thing, really. I guess it goes in the back of fire trucks. Double wall. I like that. I also like that there's no bottom drain that I can accidentally back over or anything like that. So it's a monster. If I had that much diesel here, I'd only have to fill it every couple of years. So I'll just keep ferrying. That was 48 gallons dumped into it. There was at least 70 or 80 in it when I began transferring. Well, I guess it was in that one. Maybe, that's probably generous. We'll call it another 40 in that when I began transferring it. So there's, you know, I can't tap on the side and figure out where it is because of the double wall. But yeah, what time is it? Oh, good Lord, it's almost 8 o'clock. I gotta get this monster home because it totally has lights on it. No need to check. You just take my word for it. Easter's tomorrow. I didn't know whether I'd be allowed to work on Easter or not, so I put in, yeah, I don't know, 11-hour day. I don't feel like I accomplished much, but yeah, 11-hour day. I moved that, transferred them over. I was always terrified. I was always terrified I was going to hit that right there. So, made a little bit of a mess. Hoses not wanting to stay connected and whatnot, but yeah. Other than that, I'm going home. I'm tired. This is probably the end of it. I don't know. I almost never set up the camera to film things, but would you really want to have watched me hand pump fuel between these two for 2 some odd hours? I'm pretty sure you didn't want to watch me mess around with that. But I don't know what's worth filming anymore or not. The geese are coming through. The sheep were out there, and with some springtime energy, they were kicking and a frolicking, but I missed it. Sorry. Thanks for watching.